Hello and welcome to Chapter 1, Section 7, Translating Words into Math. So, this section is a lot about word problems, understanding word problems, figuring out what exactly it is that they're asking you. So, there are a lot of different words that mean add, plus, some, added to, more than, increased by. Words that mean subtract, minus, less than, take away, difference, decreased by. Multiply, times, and product. Divide could be divided into or divided by, and quotient. Then we also have words that mean put parentheses in. And the quotient of, the sum of, the quantity of, the product of, it's usually where I want to do this to these two things. Then those two things tend to need parentheses. So you've got to kind of pay attention to what your words are saying. So take down all these words. And I know that you know them, but we need to be able to understand what to do with them when we run across them in a number sentence. So here's an example. The product of 20 and t. Essentially what that means, product is multiply. So I'm going to multiply 20 and t. And it's going to look like that. It could look like this, but really both of them are right, but this is a little more right. 15 increased by x. Well, increased is an add number. 15 increased by x. That's all that means. 19 minus a number is 19 minus a number. Any number, N, R, doesn't matter what letter you put as long as you put a letter and you don't just randomly guess a number, because that's not what this says. And then the quotient of 10 and a number. Quotient is a division problem. Now, with subtraction and division, order matters. So this is going to be 10 divided by x or n or whatever it is that your variable is. Now, these can get a little tricky with the way that they word them. 42 divided by a number, 6 divided into a number. Divided by and divided into. 42 divided by, that's the big number divided by the small number. That's 42 divided by like 6 or 7 or one of those nice, one of those numbers that actually go into 42. 42 divided by n. That's what this says. 6 divided into a number, that's going to be a number divided by 6. 6 divided into a number. So this is the one you got to watch for. That's the one that's tricky. Then you got 12 less than a number. Now, think about that. Let's say it's 12 less than 20. What that really means is you have 12 less than 20. You start with 20, but you've got 12 less than that. So less than is one of those evil things where less than means you've got to start with the number. So you're actually saying n minus 12. Anytime you have less than, you know that the 12 goes second. Divided into, this goes second. Because with these two, order matters. This one and this one are the two that say, I'm messing up your order. Okay? With those two, it's important. So I need you to focus in and learn those. Don't get caught and get your homework wrong because you were lazy. Learn them. Okay. Then we want to watch for parentheses words. So check this out. This is 4 times the sum of a number and 6. So here, what they're doing, they've actually got 3 things going on here. 3 different sets of numbers, and one of them is a variable, but that's okay. 4 times the sum of a number and 6. So we want of a number and 6 first. And then we're going to multiply 4 times that. So 4 times the sum of a number and 6. A number and 6. And we're going to add them. And then we're going to take that whole thing and we're going to multiply 4 times that number. That's what this says. Now, they could write it in a different way. The sum of 4 times a number and 6. Now, this says the sum of, I'm going to add 2 things, 4 times a number and 6. When the sum of comes first, 4 times a number and 6. This is, I've got 2 things, this thing and that thing. So now 4 times a number is 1 thing over here and 6. Sum of, sum. So I've got 2 things that I'm adding together and I have to figure out what those 2 things are. And it's the way the sentence is worded that will tell you that. This is 4 times 2 things I'm adding together. This is, I'm adding together 2 things. 4 times a number and this. Okay? Now, it might seem a little confusing, but if you keep your notes with you and you go through the ones that have 3 numbers in them and not 2 and look at them and look at the way that they're worded, you should be okay. All right? All right. Let's have a little bit of practice. 10 less than the product of a number and 3. Now I've got 3 things going on here. I got a 10, I got a number, and I got a 3. Now that means we got to figure out what order they go in. And careful, you've got a less than and a parenthesis here. So 10 less than. Now remember, less than means where does that 10 go? The product of this and that. That means these 2 things are going to get multiplied together. And then this happens. Write that out. Push pause. Come back. Push pause. Write that out. Come back. So we've got the product of a number and 3, x times 3, or you could just write 3x, and then less than 10. That means minus 10, not 10 minus. It means minus 10. So you either did that or you did that. But less than 10 means it has to be here. If you do this, it's wrong. Gotta know the difference, okay? The quotient of 8 and a number. Here you got 2 numbers and it tells you what to do with them. M plus the product of 6 and n. You got 3 things and you've got to figure out what order. 14 less than the quantity k times 7. 3 things, you got to figure out the order. 26 minus the sum of 5 and n. 3 things, what's your order? Push pause and we'll come back. Will we come back or will we do this? We'll do it now, just so you're comfortable. Push pause and come back. All right. The quotient of 8 and a number. Quotient is division. And it's 8 divided by this because it has to come in order. It has to come in order. Doesn't matter what you put here. Doesn't matter what letter you choose. Okay? Pick any letter. M plus the product of 6 and, so this is M plus the product of, and I'm going to multiply these 2 things together. That's what product is. 6 and n. Now, if you want to write it this way, you can. If you want to write it this way without the parentheses, you can, because you have to do this first. That's fine. 14 less than the quantity k times 7. 14 less than means the n says minus 14. The quantity k times 7. Well, that's 7k. You could say 7 times k, but I'd rather you said 7k. 26 minus. Now that means 26 minus. The sum of, I'm going to add these two things together, 5 and n. 5 plus n. Do you need a parentheses here? No. You can have it, but you don't need it. Okay? Your homework is going to look just like this. I'm going to stick these in front of you, and it's going to start easy, and it's going to get more and more complicated. And I just need you to take them a step at a time and have your notes open if you need them, if they'll help you. Okay? Don't forget the tricks. It should be okay. Stars, hazard signs, questions. See you tomorrow.